For thousands of years. Before factories. Before chemical formulas. Before profit-driven agriculture. The earth was already producing more than enough food. So the real question is not, can farming survive without chemical fertilizers? The real question is, why did we ever abandon what was already working? For centuries, farmers understood one simple truth. The soil is not dirt. It is a living system. And you don't force a living system to grow. You feed it. The foundation of ancient farming was natural fertilizer. Not as an alternative. Not as an experiment. But as the only way. Animal manure was not waste. It was wealth. Cow dung, goat manure, camel and buffalo waste were carefully returned to the soil. This organic matter improved soil structure, increased water retention, and fed billions of microorganisms beneath the surface. Those microorganisms did the real work. They unlocked nutrients. They protected plants from disease. They kept the land fertile year after year. Modern fertilizers feed the plant. Traditional fertilizers fed the soil. And that difference changed everything. Then there was compost. Food scraps. Dry leaves. Crop residues. Nothing was thrown away. Everything returned to the land. Compost slowly rebuilt soil health. Restored nutrients naturally. And strengthened crops from the roots up. It didn't create fast growth. It created strong growth. Plants grown in compost-rich soil were more resilient, more nutritious, and more resistant to pests. Today, we call compost optional. For centuries, it was essential. Another forgotten practice was green manure. Certain crops were grown not to be harvested, but to be buried back into the soil. These plants fixed nitrogen naturally, improved soil structure, and prevented erosion. Nature provided fertilizer for free. All farmers had to do was respect the process. Today, nitrogen is manufactured in factories, transported across continents, and sold at rising prices, yet the soil once produced it on its own.
Even wood ash had value. Ash from cooking fires was rich in potassium and minerals. It strengthened plant cells and improved flowering and fruiting. Nothing was wasted. Everything had a purpose. Modern farming creates waste. Traditional farming eliminated it. And perhaps the most powerful tool of all was crop rotation. Farmers never planted the same crop on the same land. Year after year, different plants restored different nutrients. Pests were naturally controlled. Soil exhaustion was avoided. Today, monoculture dominates. The land is pushed harder, then injected with chemicals to survive another season. Not to thrive, just to survive. Natural fertilizers worked because they were slow. Because they respected time. Because they worked with nature, not against it. Chemical fertilizers are fast. But speed has a cost. Each year, the soil becomes weaker. Each year, more chemicals are required. Each year, farmers become more dependent. What once regenerated the land now depletes it. The past does not need to be romanticized. It needs to be understood. Natural fertilizers sustained civilizations for thousands of years. They built fertile lands. They fed populations. They preserved ecosystems. They worked. The failure was not in the system. The failure was in our impatience. The question today is not whether we can return to natural methods. The question is whether we can afford not to. Because soil that is alive feeds generations. And soil that is exploited eventually feeds no one.